Let's talk about public trust. We seem to be in a strange kind of post-science moment where all this amazing work as you know, Steve Forbes and Mike Milken were talking about warp speed to get to a vaccine, but a vaccine is only so useful if people don't take it or don't trust it. What do we do about that?
Well, there's certainly a lot of misinformation. It's great people are paying attention to vaccines in a way, but a lot of that's the false data. We'll see as the vaccine comes out. We don't need absolutely everyone to take it, but we need a pretty high percentage to take it to get the protection that eventually brings this epidemic to an end. And then things like going to a big stadium will be reasonable to do again, which we shouldn't be doing that right now. So the digital era has brought a lot of misinformation, and with the pandemic, vaccines in particular, I hope that's not getting out into the mainstream.
It's interesting. We have such a short memory as a country, but look, we lived through something scary like this. It was called polio, and it affected so many families in the United States where they were terrified, for good reason, to let their children go out and play, because we, at the time, didn't know where polio came from, and then we had to wait for the Salk and Sabin vaccine. Once those vaccines came out, people lined up in droves for those vaccines. So my hope is that this time will eventually remind people the importance of public health. We forget in this country that diseases like measles are way more infectious than COVID-19 is. I mean, for every person who gets measles, they tend to infect 8 to 9 other people. It is so infectious. We could have another one of those come along. So I'm hopeful that, as the vaccine comes and people do start to use it, it will quell down some of these kind of silly conspiracy theories that are out there.
Well, speaking of conspiracy theories, how are you guys doing personally? I mean, you're now both the subject of a lot of these conspiracy theories. You're doing amazing work and putting a lot of time and money and effort into it. And then this is to some degree what you get. How is that personally affecting you both?
Well, the disinformation is it's confounding on the one hand. And on the other hand, we're still just putting our heads down and doing the work. It doesn't change our daily life to have those conspiracy theories out there. We know they're not true. They certainly come up a little bit with the kids in the household. By the way, we do have our son came home early from college, and unfortunately for him. So that conversation comes up, but it doesn't change what we do on a day-to-day basis, luckily.
Bill, you look a little bit bemused.
Well, I hope it remains a humorous thing, that there aren't anything more that comes of that. It's not like we're going to back off or anything. Some news channels have been better than others on these things. And, it just shows there's certain primal concerns about, medicine and science and experts that when people are worried, they're kind of more open-minded to unusual explanations.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of anxiety for good reason in the country right now, and a lot of tension, and people are more glued at home. They have more time. So in some ways, maybe this was inevitable, but I know my husband is not vaccinating people and putting a microchip in her arm, because that technology doesn't even exist, and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth. So